The Way of Earth, Social Magic in Action. The path of Earth is one of 4 spiritual journeys that, when completed, lead to a center of integration where a person can then go on to enlightened states. Earth is one of the 2 common paths similar to most religions of the West. It makes up most of the popular myths and stories of the world, which Joe Campbell named the hero's journey. Campbell spent many years with the myths of ancient peoples and came up with a pattern of adventure and return that was adopted by Hollywood as a story template. George Lucas, in particular, was fascinated by this story. However popular this story, it is only half of the ancient myth, ending with the return of the hero and his crowning and marriage as king. The full story is shown here in a figure 8 with the rise of the hero, his transformation into tyranny, and his sacrifice to save his son. Lucas showed this full journey in his brilliant construction of the path of Anakin Skywalker as Darth Vader. We see this path repeated over and over again in the history of nations, businesses, and powerful movements begun by common people. The hero's journey, adventuring into might is right. What most people don't understand is that this journey begins with a common youth. He is called a fool and may be simple or bumbling, but he has one quality, that of luck or charm. He or she wants to help and desires no more than to succeed at winning some goodness for his people. He wants to rescue people, to help them, to win, to make money with a product that will make their lives better. He rises into a role of protector, but can easily be trapped into viewing all others with suspicion, jealousy, and rivalry that follow him even into power. He then realizes that to protect and preserve his people and himself, he must sacrifice himself to fight off evil that he may have created himself. And in doing this, he becomes the once and future king. Chapter 1. Seeking Magic. Clement of Alexandria said, "Let him who seeks continue until he find. When he has found, he shall wonder. When he has wondered, he shall reign. When he has reigned, he shall rest." One of the things that makes a hero out is his friends. The person on this path is known for his team or his group of friends who help him on his adventures. In stories, these are people for whom he has done a favor or has been kind to, and they follow him to help him on the adventure. They also follow, drawn by the charm he exudes, drawn by his luck and his success, drawn by his ability to push through and win. He may choose his friends for their abilities, but often they find a way to help him win. Some are foolish, some are young, some are misfits, but they are all part of a winning team that will trust each other and help each other, backing each other up against those they perceive as being unfair or oppressive. This path is so popular that it permeates sports, business, and national identity, as well as myths and stories. Chapter 2. Initiation into Heroism and the Pitfall of Social Success. Humphrey Bogart said that the only thing you owe the public is a good performance. On this path, the skills you need may be difficult to achieve, but something will be easy or will fit you like a glove. Many find this in sports, and team sports can feel like you are one large being, able to read each other, to move in when someone needs help, or to move together toward the goal. Bands can also feel this way. Also projects, large projects like movies or running a company. But this happens in success itself. Winning is so addictive that it can take over your whole personality. Here are some questions to ask yourself. Do I think my life would be easier if I were a winner? Do I watch people who are considered to be successful? Do I have trouble overcoming failure in myself? Would I have trouble overcoming failure from someone on my team? Would I defend my friends against others no matter what? Do I think successful people should be popular? Do I have standards and morals about how I should live my life? Is it important to me that others should share my morals and standards? Should my spouse reflect my success? Chapter 3, The Threshold of Fortune, Hearing the Call of Popularity. Bill Gates said, "Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose." Magically speaking, you are just a guy or a gal in the ordinary world trying to get by, minding your own business. But something in you is restless. Something in your world seems off, and you must find a cure. The call to go out into the world may be a nagging in the back of your mind, or it might be an emergency. Whatever it is, you must go out onto the path, blind and trusting, and take the leap of faith. The call may be something small, like a tryout, or something large, like joining the Peace Corps. But the first person you usually meet is a mentor. The way of this path, onto this path, is through a mentor, a coach, an older brother, a leader, or simply someone who has been there. It may even be a book or a movie. The call to fortune is a desire to be someone different, to do something more than be an ordinary student or an ordinary worker. Most often for the young, this call is college. But the mentor may come in many shapes. Look and listen for someone who stirs your heart. The virtues of the playing field are ancient. Learn them well, and you will succeed in many ventures. Loyalty, learn to love those whom you work with. Fair play, to learn to play fair and fight for people, not against them. Camaraderie, to learn to work with your band as one person, not as many. Trust, to learn to help and be helped without hesitation. Virtue, to learn to strike evil from your heart so that you may see clearly. Prowess, to strike only when you need to strike, but strike true. Chapter 4, Finding the Path. Annie Dillard, in Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, said, "But if you cultivate a healthy poverty and simplicity so that finding a penny will literally make your day, then, since the world is packed in pennies, you have, with your poverty, brought a lifetime of days. It is that simple. What you see is what you get." In ancient times, a young man was told to go on walkabout. In earth magic, you cannot seek a path with logic. You must follow your heart. The best way to do this is to go on a mission for your people, or simply to go on walkabout. You must learn the languages of the earth, literally, or learn the language of the beasts, birds, and rocks. Being out in the world is one of the best ways to get a feeling for the world that will stay with you for the rest of your life. This may be building a house or taking apart a car, or it may be working as an intern for a summer or visiting relations in another city. Travel. Travel is the best way to understand that you are a defender of the world, a member of the population, and of planet Earth. Traveling lets you see the faces of other people so that you do not fear them. Fear for you is not knowing. Xenophobia and hatred begins with not being able to see the face of an enemy or only seeing his differences. Traveling out of the kingdom, out into the world, automatically makes you humble, as all strangers have to be humble. Pulitzer Prize winner Robert Olin Butler talks about his experience in Vietnam that led him to write Good Scent from a Strange Mountain. He was the only one he knew who, when called up for duty in Vietnam, actually made some effort to learn the language. His experience in that land was the opposite of the men he knew because of this. Because he knew the language and the people of the country had a real face for him and were not just slant-eyed gooks, he was able to come back from Vietnam a larger person, a better person, a person who had found a path instead of a nightmare. If you are landlocked, try to go to the ocean. If you are from the east, try to go to the west, and from the south to the north, traveling and living in another place. If only for a short while, will sharpen your senses. Working there will make your experience part of your lifelong path. Often going to college is the way that kids do this, but college is often for the elite unless you can play sports, unusually well. Yet in every tourist town in every major city, young people pour in to work at whatever they can to broaden their experience. Adopting a stone. One of the best ways to find a path is to adopt a stone. This does not mean to carry around a stone, but to go to a place and make it yours. Part of earth magic is in owning and possessing. Other people use things to destroy and create other things. Your part is to own them. The most earthly and rooted people are those who have adopted a stone or a mountain or a field or a tree or a river and watched it through the seasons, walking along it, getting to know it, making it part of you in a way that true ownership does. Ownership means knowing and understanding. The best defender is a person who knows what he defends and knows it well enough to confuse and befuddle invaders. Owning means making a map, not literally, but in your heart, knowing the seams and creases and chips and pieces and substance of the stone. The first thing that a commander will want in a man is one who knows the territory or path. If the path is yours, you fully understand the path. You can be a guide or a pathfinder for others of the team that is defending the territory. You will fight better for something you know, own, and love with all your heart. Remember, sometimes seeing something means leaving it and returning to it with new eyes. A stone does not have to be a thing. It can be a profession. Adopting a profession is just as involved ownership as adopting a mountain. Some people adopt families, but this involves more magic than is on the earth path. And adopting a stone is between you and the thing owned. People cannot be owned in the same way. Remember, ownership is love. Love means open hands to go forward to a thing. If you feel the fear and want to react, listen to your heart. Always follow your heart, no matter what others think about it. If you give up a fortune to save a soul, you have saved your soul. Learning to listen. Other workers of magic must learn to listen in order to do something. You need to listen just to listen. Listening is learning to hear over the flood of voices in your mind. When Luke Skywalker is trying to fight becoming a Jedi, he gives excuses, and wise old Obi-Wan says, "Now that is your father talking." Listening is learning to listen to your heart over the voices of those you respect, love, and fear. Listening is a scary thing. Sometimes you will hear things that make your heart race with the idea of doing something wild or adventurous or radical. Every path into the unknown is scary to contemplate. What listening means is feeling this feeling over the fear of failure, the fear of loss, the fear of rejection, the fear of harm, over all the fears that are associated with the secure, warm den of your home. Listen to the wind rattling in the door. Listen to the rain on the roof. Listen to the thunder and the far-off voices of the storm. Feel how comfortable you are, how warm and full and sleepy in the pack of your fellows. This is the temptation. This is the sweet taste of security that hides the steel jaws of a trap of a greater fear. The longer you postpone your trip, the more settled you become, and the more tightly you will be bound. The time for binding is later, not now. Now you are free, and you need to run hither and thither, seeking the path. Chapter 5, The Protection of Arms. Muhammad Ali said, "I be floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee." Skills learned on the playing field will teach you that you can defend yourself well only when you are part of a group that you trust, and there are times to defend and times to attack. Yours is not the scathing verbal attacks of the trickster, but the solid, coordinated attacks of a trained warrior. This is even more evident in business, where all defenses and attacks must be strategy and not random acts made while one is angry. Anger is your enemy. Trust is your ally. Any team works better when you can build trust. Trust comes from within, and to evoke trust, you must first trust yourself. This is why you must often take years learning from a master, honing the skills of the body and mind, making yourself into a tool or a weapon, ready to win and not writhe in the defeat of the unprepared. Chapter 6, Ways to Betrayal and Tyranny of the Weak. General Patton said, "The object of war is not to die for your country, but to make the other bastard die for his." Male animals are designed to dominate and win using what the Sufis call rage force. This is a basic force in you, or the animal. Being a human means that you can control this force by will and training. But it becomes more difficult the more power you have. You forget the team and start dominating people just for the thrill of being powerful. Here are some questions to ask yourself. Have I ever jumped to my friend's defense even though I knew he was wrong? Have I ever helped a buddy and then felt betrayed when he wasn't there to help me? Have I ever resented my fate? Have I ever yelled at someone to shut up when I was the one who refused to listen? Have I ever struck out at someone without thinking just because I was worried? Have I ever worried that time was taking my power from me? Have I ever sounded just like my father when he was yelling at me? Chapter 7, Becoming the God. Gandhi said, "You can chain me, you can torture me, you can even destroy this body, but you will never imprison my mind." There may come a time in your life when you have won and you feel like a god. This can come through very hard work, but it is also being at the right place at the right time, being on or being lucky. This is the charm that ancient peoples sought in rulers for their kingdoms. We see this in fiction as the chosen one or the one filled with the force. You may have days like this where you can do no wrong. Timing is perfect, body is perfect, situation is perfect. And as if this continues, you can begin to feel like you have the Midas touch. However, as the ancients knew, fate is fickle and the luck you have today may turn on you tomorrow. Fortune and winning can be a trap, but it often leads to an incredible feeling of belonging in the world that most men feel when they hold their firstborn. If you win, take this as a sign of responsibility, of coming into the kingdom, of marriage, of family, of ownership. Reach out and take the trophy, not because you think you deserve it, but with love, with the feeling that you are home. Chapter 8, Black Magic and Fear. Ellen Payton says, "When men are ruled by fear, they strive to prevent the very changes that will abate it." Many people have felt the thrill of victory and have felt joy in being successful and popular. Many people have enjoyed the fruits of their labors and rested after they have climbed the hill to the top. Sometimes people have failed or in fearing failure have not tried. Sometimes they have been caught up in events far beyond their control and have lost everything before the moment of glory. Yet what most people on this path fear more than anything else is the downward swing of the wheel of fortune when one has been at the heights. Most people spend their lives at the height in training children to keep the wheel from turning. These are actual life stories, but the path of magic is a spiritual path, related in stories and religious dramas, an interaction between the soul and the natural world. The path of earth magic is the path of the dying and resurrected king, the path of the sun as it passes through the year. This is the path of most of the ancient kings and the path of Jesus Christ. The trap of this path is fear, fear of failure and fear of losing power. Fear of that turning wheel. We have stories and histories of those who rose to power and went to great lengths to keep it. The emperor is to be envied and is an easy target. The lucky man becomes tainted and the mob turns on him. Most try to destroy that mob through physical means or economic, amassing more and more power to feel secure and fight off enemies. The quest for power often leads to a quest for immortality through works of power. Men build huge companies, often monopolies or trusts. They build huge castles and try to secure their kingdoms against invaders from without or within. They will also build huge tombs or monuments, anything to secure their future, stop the creep of time, allowing them to have power and success forever. Feeling the passing of time, they may build up nations and kingdoms or large conglomerates and corporations, catching at anything to secure that moment of winning when fortune once smiled. Chapter 9, Sacrifice. Sir Francis Bacon once said, "Men fear death as children fear to go in the dark, and as that natural fear in children is increased by tales, so is the other." The only way past fear is love. Fear is drawing back, love is reaching forward. The path of earth magic ends in sacrifice, for this is the path of earthly power and possessions. Most religions and stories urge the listener to give up earthly power, even life, to the next generation. Rather than feeling this to be an act that goes against success, it is an act that you must make, knowing that you no longer need possessions or power. Your soul can only be freed by giving this up. In stories, the king, corrupted by power, gives up his life for the sake of his soul, for the sake of his son. He tries to take evil with him to wipe the slate of darkness, of the waning year, so that the sun will rise again. For you, in the real world, this means moving on from the games of the world, often to retreat into a spiritual focus where you can put aside the winning and losing, the bright lights and the dark emptiness, and learn just to be in the moment, finally off the wheel of fate.